Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode review. This time we will be reviewing episode 51, the beginning of the Season 1 finale duel between Rook and Yuga. What did I think about this episode? I thought it was a very, very good episode for a bunch of different reasons, but we have to start this review with the main conversation piece that everyone, I'm sure, wants to talk about, and that is the big reveal at the end of this episode. Real-time Rush Duel uninstallation being performed by the one, the only Otis. Otis was one of the first characters we got introduced to at the beginning of the show, and as the show has gone on, so many of us have kind of all agreed that he is one of the most mysterious, fascinating, and confusing characters in this entire story. It's hard to tell when he's actually physically there or when it's a hologram version of him. Remember, he was the hologram man in the beginning of this show. It wasn't until a few weeks had passed, I'm pretty sure, that we learned his name was Otis. He wields these legendary monsters, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Summoned Skull, Red Eyes Black Dragon, and every time he shows up and every time he is speaking, you can't look away. He grabs a scene like barely any other characters do in this show, quite frankly, because there is so much mysteriousness surrounding him. And we learn at the end of this episode that he is the one that orchestrated this entire tournament. We learn that he is the one that is trying to uninstall Rush Duels. So his plan that he gave to Mr. Goha and to Goha 66, my best and most ultimate plan to destroy Rush Duels. And he literally made that book, by the way, look as if it was written by a toddler to throw everyone off of his track. It's kind of a grim comparison, but it's almost like what a serial killer will do, where they will literally go to these great lengths to throw people off of their track. I think about them, leaving initials that have no correspondence to what they actually are or who they actually are, to try and get authorities to think, oh, the initials are CW, that must mean something, when really it means nothing. And so Otis creating this book where it looks like it was written by literally a kindergartner. Mimi thinks that it could have been Yuga. Yuga doesn't know what to make of it. It really is genius, everything that Otis did. And he uses Goha 66 to make us, the viewer, and everyone in this tournament believe that they are the main threat. I mean, the entire first half of this arc, we all believed that Goha 66 was probably the main threat. When we saw how that guy talked to Hunt and was, excavating at the end of one of the early episodes, the entire Maximum Mountain, they really were shown to us in this threatening manner, and that was all to distract what was actually going on in this tournament, which was Otis working on the moon and hacking since the tournament began. We don't know how he escaped the Goha prison. I know we saw it happen, but that whole thing was weird. I imagine that was him in the flesh, because remember, Rook touched Otis when he dueled Yuga, I think in episode 43. So how did Otis go from in Goha Corporation to in prison to on the moon? Or is the version of him on the moon not actually the version of him, and is that a hologram? But the fact that he's on the moon doing this is so genius, and it literally shows how he has completed and masterminded this insanely amazing plan, because it's not like he's underground beneath the ramen shop. It's not like he's in the building next to Goha Corporation where Geta and Schrodinger and maybe a few others can go and try and apprehend him and stop him. There is literally, seemingly, nothing that anyone can do because he is on the freaking moon. And isn't it weird that Otis knew where the Goha server was, and someone like President Drone and Mimi didn't even know where the Goha server was? I know we didn't hear President Drone say that outright, but Mimi had no idea where the Goha server was, and neither did her right-hand man, the secretary guy. So how does Otis once again know all of this information that we as the viewer don't know? It really is fascinating. And then, of course, huge credit to Yuga for figuring out that them being underground was kind of symbolism for something happening on the moon, and that was insanely foreshadowed by Braun and the Astronaut Club, the Space Exploration Club. That is shown very early to us in this arc, and they are in Maximum Mountain, and obviously they have a love for the moon. Well, Maximum Mountain was used as the scapegoat area, and the moon was really where the big evil was going on. And so Otis has constructed an incredible plan. I was really hoping that they were going to go down that road. I'm not convinced that he is the end-all be-all villain, because when it comes to Otis, when you get answers, you still have tons of mystery. And the mystery now is, why is he uninstalling Rush Duels? Is it to reinstall it and maybe add a new summoning mechanic like when Nail installed Maximums? Is it just he wants to uninstall it for... I have no idea, because the entire time that Otis has been in the show, he's been very pro-Rush Duel. He was the one who helped Yuga install it in episode 1. Every time we have seen Otis, he is helping Rush Duel gain that next level. If it wasn't for him losing to Roman, Rook, and Gakuto, Yuga doesn't get a maximum, and Yuga probably doesn't beat Nail. If it wasn't for him losing to Yuga in episode 43, Yuga probably doesn't have the motivation to enter this tournament, which was necessary in his plan. So we look at Otis, right? 3 losses, and this is exactly why wins and losses mean nothing. I look at that and say, did he throw those duels? He very well might have thrown those duels and lost on purpose, because he needed to lose those duels in order to manipulate every single thing that has happened so far in this show when it comes to the installation and now the uninstallation of Rush Duels. So hats off to Otis. Applauses all around. He has legitimately become a very, in my opinion, dangerous and even more mysterious and confusing character. And this is not going to get resolved next week. This is absolutely not going to get resolved next week. I expect Yuga and Rook to continue their duel, but this Otis stuff is going to be the main focal point, at least at the start of Season 2. Why is he uninstalling it? Why did he need it to be installed in the first place? Is he truly the evil character in this, or is this another red herring where they're trying to throw us off? I don't know. I don't want to come out and say that Otis is the big bad, because I'm not fully convinced of that yet. This show has done so many setups. I think of the ramen guy laughing a few episodes where it seems like they're going one way and then they do a complete 180 turn. The truth is, we have no idea what Otis's motivations are, but it seems like the plan and the manipulation, a word Yuga used to describe Otis, to get to this point has been done absolutely flawlessly. And even though Yuga and others were kind of figuring out that Otis was behind it, they were ultimately helpless to prevent this from happening, which is important. So great look on Otis, and I'm so intrigued to find out why. The duel itself was really good. It really did have some awesome vibes to it, some pro-tag, almost pro-tag versus rival vibes, mixed with that pro-tag versus best friend. Sevens has been kind of a weird show where they don't really have a definitive rival, and Rook at times, even though he should be the best friend character, feels like the rival character. What I love is the parallels and symbolism that was within this duel. Yuga drawing poorly like he did at the start of his first duel against Rook, and you could see the nerves on his face, and everyone else, Asana, Roman, they all knew that something was off with Yuga, and they were like, oh crap, he bricked. And even Rook was like, listen, you can't let a bad hand stop this from being the greatest duel ever. And that kind of gets Yuga back to his old self. Rook is about to win. Yuga uses a trap to rely on luck. He does luck out, and he survives another turn. Yuga then using that trap, which allowed him to put 7 cards in a box. If 5 of them were monsters, he's good to go. Well, 3 of them, of course, were his maximum Vast Vulcan, and he's able to put those monsters in any order at the top of the deck that he wants. So obviously, Yuga goes into Vast Vulcan at the start of his second turn. Pretty good bounce back, right? Your first turn, you brick. But because of Rush Duels and because of how easy it is to get a new hand, your second turn, even though it was manipulated by that trap card, he gets to summon his maximum, and Rook is up against it. And it looks like Rook is going to lose, and then Rook relies on a trap card that is also purely based on luck. And I love the luck symbolism here that Yuga and Rook are using. 777 has been synonymous with Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, duh. And the winner of this duel, their team is going to have 777 points. And 777 is obviously very well known for being the symbol of luck, for hitting 3 sevens on a slot machine in Vegas and going nuts because you just won the jackpot. So the fact that Yuga and Rook are using cards that are relying on luck in this duel, with the 3 sevens being so synonymous with the show, I think fits very well. They both get lucky, they both survive, and then of course the duel gets cut short by everything that's happening, and I loved Nail breaking it down, Roa breaking it down, Roman and even Gakuto breaking it down, and everyone just kind of understanding what was happening and explaining it to the audience, that someone is hacking in, that the server is on the moon, that it's a super secure server. We see the Rush Duel robot that Yuga drew early on in this show, and he had a dream about. How did Yuga know that that robot was even a thing? I mean, Yuga's got some, I don't know, Yuga's got some interesting either powers here or it's just a coincidence, but the fact that Yuga knew this robot existed without ever seeing it is kind of interesting, and I don't know if we should just gloss over that. I think that could end up being noteworthy going forward. But the robot is disintegrating, most likely because Otis is removing Rush Duels from the history of the world, from the database, and Otis, who seemed again to be one of the biggest allies of Rush Duels, is going to be the one to end it by his own hands. So really, really good episode. Again, the duel with the luck symbolism was great, and then of course all the plot dump that we got at the end here, and then that big reveal of Otis saying real-time Rush Duel uninstallation in the most menacing voice he has ever spoken with this show so far was really superbly well done. And guys, I am so excited to see what episode 52 brings. Sevens up Wednesday night. Legendary Duels will be there. Definitely don't miss that. We're going to have a lot more discussion about this episode Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And that pretty much wraps up my thoughts. I mean, I really just wanted to speak about Otis and about the major plot point. But of course, next week, while I really do not think any of this is going to get resolved, I do think that this season is going to end with Rush Duels being removed from the server. I think that Rush Duels are going to cease to exist. This duel will be the last Rush Duel, and I say last with quotation marks because I'm sure in Season 2 they'll reinstall it very quickly. But yeah, I think that Rush Duels really is coming to an end, at least for the near future. But guys, let me know all your thoughts on episode 51. Let me know all your thoughts on the Otis twist. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Let me know. And any thoughts on the duel so far and any predictions for 52 down below, definitely in the comment section. Thank you all so much for watching. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Panther J, Blue Maiden 28, Jarrett Buller, XSlayer64, Brandon Gomez, and TenjoKogamiZaizen, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, and Anime Kaput, and to my Egyptian God tier patron, XZLover104. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who is a YouTube channel member. I appreciate it so, so much. You guys help me out tremendously. I stream on Twitch, 48-hour stream, Friday night to Sunday night over on Twitch this weekend. Definitely want to be there for that. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. Follow me on there. I'll follow you guys back. Thank you all so much for your incredible support. I will talk to you in the comment section, and I hope you have an amazing day.